We have some breaking news that Mark Logan, a Conservative MP, now a Conservative candidate for Bolton North East, won that seat in 2019, has quit the Tories and is urging people to vote Labour on July the 4th. We have another Conservative defection to Labour. Mark Logan, the former MP for Bolton North East, you can see him there on your screens, has defected, is urging people to vote Labour and says that he would like to try and stand for Labour in a constituency. He is 40 years old. He won that seat from Labour in the 2019 general election with a tiny majority of just 378. It had been Labour since 1997, but was previously held by the Tories, and he has defected. So we are waiting for confirmation from the Labour Party, but Sky News understands that he is quitting the Tories and urging people to vote Labour on July the 4th, and this is the third defection, isn't it, in recent weeks. We had Natalie Elphicke from Dover. She defected. She stood down, actually, but she did that big speech with Starmer about stopping small boats, saying that the Prime Minister had failed the public on this policy. She had defected. And so we have now another defection as well. Dan Poulter, also a Conservative standing down, he too defected just before Natalie Elphicke, and he defected saying he is a medicine man. He defected saying that Labour had let down the public on the NHS. That's Dr. Dan Poulter, who also defected. So we have another defection. Mark Logan saying we need a new government.
Yeah, I mean, and the timing, awful for Rishi Sunak.
Yeah, I mean, it is absolutely awful for Rishi Sunak. He also had another problem earlier this week where the MP for Telford, she said, Lucy Allen, she also defected, but this time she went to Reform. She urged the party or voters there to back Reform. So this is the second defection, and they're going both ways this week, aren't they? One to Labour, one to Reform. You remember Lee Anderson actually also defected to Reform. So that's 5 defections in recent weeks. But yeah, this is bad news for the Prime Minister. Another defection there. You can see him on your screens. That's Mark Logan. He had a tiny majority in Bolton North East, won it in the Brexit election when so many red wall seats that had long been held Labour turned Tory. He just had a majority of just under 400. So, I mean, the writing on the wall there, very likely that that seat will go back to Labour. It must be one of the most marginals there are in the country. But Mark Logan hoping to stand in another Labour seat. But also, Mark, yes, it is bad news for Rishi Sunak, but I would also say that it's helpful for Labour because it detracts a bit from the crisis they've got in their own ranks at the moment. The deselection potentially of Diane Abbott, the MP, the former MP for Hackney North and Stoke Newington, she's represented that seat for 37 years. The potential deselection of her, she says she's going to be barred from standing, has caused massive ripple effects in the Labour Party, with accusations that Starmer is trying to purge the left from the party, with other candidates on the left being barred from standing. A ruthlessness, if you like, that some MPs are saying is to the detriment of the party. And you've seen in that interview I did with his deputy, Angie Rayner, earlier today, like his number 2 basically going against what the rest of the shadow cabinet are saying, publicly saying that she thinks Diane should be allowed to stand as a Labour MP if she wants. She did also say to me, when I asked her about the purge of the left and factionalism and trying to shape the party without left MPs in it, she did say that she didn't think Starmer was responsible for the factionalism, but she did say that the briefings against Diane Abbott were unhelpful. So Labour have their own problems today, Mark, in terms of the campaign, with these rows over MPs and selections of MPs really sort of polluting and diluting the messages that they want to get out, that they are wanting to talk about the NHS, wanting to talk about the economy. Now, they say they're a changed Labour Party, and perhaps for their strategy, they want to be seen to be expelling certain MPs. But for many members of the public, it might just look in really bad taste. And interestingly, with Diane Abbott, the first black female MP who has been in the party for 37 years as the MP for Stoke Newington and Hackney North, her potential being barred from selection again in that seat has really split the party, with Angie Rayner, the latest Labour MP, coming out in the backing and support of Diane Abbott, with Jess Phillips doing the same on our Electoral Dysfunction podcast that we put out yesterday.